Welcome, everyone, to this presentation, which is all about how to thank your employees. It's a very important skill to have as a leader. And while you may mentally thank your employees in your head, very often you get busy and you don't do it. That can create a problem later on for retention and employee engagement. Times are challenging right now. There's probably a lot of different things you're having to do in your business as a result of COVID-19. So I want to give you some actionable strategies, some ways to thank your employees. At the end, you'll have an opportunity to download a free little cheat sheet that I've put together that highlights some of the key principles that we talk about during this session. First, I think it's important to thank your employees for all the adjustments that they're making. Let's face it, this has been an unusual year. Suddenly, people are having to work from home, deal with other challenges that have emerged. They're having to do things much differently than they have in the past. Make sure that you're taking a moment or two just to say, hey, I appreciate all that you're doing, adjusting to the changes, adjusting to how our company is different now. Just take that little step to thank people, acknowledging what they've done. Along those lines, you also want to make sure that you are saluting them for the effort. I want to make sure I'm clear here. Effort does not necessarily mean results. If you have to make a change, a big change in your business, there is a certain amount of effort people are going to have to make to do that. That doesn't mean that the change is going to succeed right away. However, you again want to make sure you are thanking people for putting in the effort, the extra time, learning new things, doing things a little bit differently to fit the demands of today's world. So make sure you're saluting effort. Don't think you can only say thank you to people when they have accomplished something, because sometimes someone is working really, really hard. The results haven't come yet, but the effort is there, and that's what you want to see. A good way to thank your employees is to be transparent. Let them know how things are going in the business. Now, I don't mean scare them to death if things are bad. There you may want to be a little more diplomatic, let's say. But give people an honest picture of how things are going. Let them have some certainty, or at least a sense of certainty, in terms of how your business is thriving, surviving, or being somewhere in between. This gives people an opportunity to focus on new goals or new initiatives, to understand that, hey, there are stakes here, and perhaps to alleviate some of the worry that they may be feeling. You may not be able to answer all the questions, and it is okay for you to be able to say, gee, I can't answer that right now. I just don't know. That's honest. Your goal here is to remove some of the uncertainty that may be filling the minds of your employees. When people don't know what's going on, they're going to start to fill the holes in their mind with what ifs. And some of those things may never happen, and it can be a big distraction at a time when you want to make sure people are focused. So try to be as transparent as possible in terms of how things are going and what are the stakes right now. I realize that you may want to thank your employees for all that hard work that they're doing. You may want to give them all a big bonus or have a special employee day party, and you have no money. It's understandable because a lot of businesses have lost money this year. This is not going to be a banner year. So what do you do when you can't spend money to thank people? Are you out of luck? Well, I believe there are some strategies that can have a good impact along the lines of a financial bonus. Some of these other ideas. Maybe down the road, if certain company goals have been reached or employees have been working hard, maybe you give people an extra day off, where they get a day off maybe around the holidays when things slow down a little bit. They have the opportunity to go home early on a Friday, come in later on a Monday, something like that. Can you do something along those lines? It's a non-monetary benefit. Yes, people will be out of the office, but in the big picture, if it was a slow time anyway, it may not have that much impact. Another way to do it, is there a way to somewhat lessen the dress code? Obviously, you want people to be professional, but there may be some times when there's not going to be as much interaction with the outside world. People can be dressed down a little bit. Obviously, if everyone's working from home, doesn't really matter that much other than the top portion of people. But see if there's some little changes you can make there. These are just things that make life just a little better for employees. They change the routine and might energize them some. So don't think that thanking your employees has to involve you breaking the bank. Ideally, you want to make sure that your workforce is engaged and that when they come into work, they feel like they understand what they need to accomplish, how it fits into the big picture. You want them to understand that. There's been a lot of changes right now, so if you can add some stability to people's lives, that's a plus. So really think of thanking employees as a way to keep them engaged. And you realize as well that there's also, besides the engagement, there's a retention factor. If people feel like their days are meaningful, like they're doing things that are important, that they're helping a business pivot to a brighter tomorrow, they're going to be engaged and they're probably going to stick around. Retention. If you already had good people, you want to make sure you keep them. So you want to make sure that they have that sense of control, that they can know that they're going to go into work for 8 or so hours. They're going to get meaningful work done. They'll come back tomorrow. They understand that these may be rough seas right now for your company. But if they understand what they have, they're going to be less likely to be looking to go to another place. Thanking your employees. It's a simple step, but again, it's one that we forget when we get busy. Try to keep it in mind. Take that moment out. Really show people that you care about them, that you want the best for them. I know it can be hard to do when you're super busy. Give it a shot. This is the guide I was talking about. It can allow you an opportunity to have that little cheat sheet on your desk. Make sure you're following the principles that we talked about today in thanking your employees. Want to find out more about me or even thank me for this presentation? Hey, my name is Ken Okel. I'm a professional speaker. I also speak virtually. I've had to make that pivot as well. Want to find out more about my talks? Go to www.kenokel.com. You can email me at tvguy@kenokel.com. About the email, I worked for a lot of years in TV news. When you'd be out and about in public, people would recognize you, but they wouldn't necessarily know your name. So they just say, "Hey, TV guy." You're also welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn. Maybe put in the invitation to connect where you first heard me, so that way I can know where you're coming from. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and feel free to share it with other people who might benefit from the concepts that we've discussed. I'm Ken Okel. Take care.